Good afternoon. This is Channel 33 Degree and Warming. I'm Celsius Kelsey.
And I'm Chilly Billy. Hey, Kels, how much does a polar bear weigh?
I'm not quite sure, Billy. I would guess around 1,000 pounds.
Me either, but at least it's enough to break the ice. And that was today's icebreaker. What are the cold facts for today's, Kels?
Today's topic is more massive than a glacier. For years, countless debates and stories discussing the outcomes of global climate change have circulated throughout the global populace, especially because of its potential to lead the downfall of human existence. How can we tell facts from fiction?
Let's take a look. A common technique used for measuring atmospheric composition over any given period of time is drilling ice cores. Scientists have taken samples from all over Antarctica, which reveal a drastic increase in carbon dioxide concentration.
CO2 is a greenhouse gas, which, in high concentrations, can trap heat in the Earth's atmosphere, eventually causing global temperatures to rise. Are they able to tell when it began increasing?
Scientists to look back into Earth's past hundreds of thousands of years. They have traced the increase of CO2 levels back to the late 1700s.
That's when the Industrial Revolution began. I bet there's a connection between these occurrences.
You're exactly right. During the Industrial Revolution, new production methods were implemented based upon the procurement of fossil fuels. These new methods produced a large amount of carbon dioxide, and as our global economy became increasingly dependent on coal and other fossil fuels, the content of CO2 and other greenhouse gases in our atmosphere significantly increased. This graph was produced by the CISRO Division of Atmospheric Research from ice cores supplied by Australian Antarctic Division.
Wow, that graph shows over a 20% increase from 280 parts per million in the last 1,000 years.
That rate continues to increase.
There may not even be any ice. The upper safety limit for atmospheric CO2 is 350 parts per million, which was surpassed in 1988.
As of October 2013, we were at 394 parts per million, and it's still increasing. If the atmospheric content of CO2 is so high and the temperatures have risen, what has happened to the Earth?
We've already seen implications of global climate change, such as places in Antarctica beginning to melt. As the ice has melted and the sea levels have raised, a wide variety of habitats have been altered. This process will continue to accelerate as more greenhouse gases are released into the atmosphere.
Wow, my slushie's almost completely melted away just thinking about it. This is all good information, but I'm a little confused. I read a source that claimed Antarctica was actually growing in size instead of melting into the sea. How can this be?
Good question. As average global temperatures have increased, evaporation from the oceans have also increased, leading to a higher precipitation rate. Higher snowfall and a raised elevation have allowed for the eastern portion of Antarctica to grow in size. The western shelf of Antarctica appears to be the most affected by global climate change.
Bird Station, located in West Antarctica, has reported a 4.3 degree Fahrenheit increase since 1958.
That's 3 times faster than the average rate of global warming, according to studies published in Nature's Geoscience.
Incredible. The Red Pine Island Glacier, located in West Antarctica, is estimated to be melting approximately 6 centimeters per day.
Indeed it is. Pine Island is a very important glacier, as it currently holds back inland ice from the seas. If the glacier were to break off, it could be very problematic, exposing a large portion of inland Antarctica to the monsoon sea. The West Antarctic ice sheet contributes a 0.3 millimeter rise per year to the monsoon sea, and as more ice is exposed, the quicker the ice will break up and melt away.
Here's a graph provided by NASA depicting the change in Antarctic ice mass since 2002.
I've heard the ozone hole has an effect on melting ice. If that's true, how does it work?
The ozone hole is located over Antarctica, but the lowest concentrations appear specifically over the west. This causes decreased atmospheric pressure, changing wind currents, and pushing warm water closer to and beneath the floating ice sheets in the Atlantic. More ice becomes exposed to warm water. NASA provides a different look at the ozone.
Breaking news! A volcano has been discovered under a mile of ice in West Antarctica. This is predicted to have an increase on melting ice at the base of glaciers, making the ice melt flow out to sea faster.
Who would have thought something so hot could be found in such a cold place? When is it predicted to erupt?
According to Doug Weens from Washington University, they are unable to estimate the exact time or even how big the eruption could be, but it will be closely monitored. They can predict that when the eruption does occur, it will melt the ice from beneath, and the West Antarctic ice sheet will break off much quicker than anticipated.
So what would happen if we don't change how humans manage resources and the environment?
If Antarctica completely melted, sea levels would rise 60 meters, which is 200 feet, and that isn't even including all of Earth's ice melting.
National Geographic has an interactive map that shows us what the U.S. would look like if it completely melted. The light blue shows what would disappear into the ocean.
Whoa, all of Florida is gone. I guess Minnesotans won't be making any trips there during the winter.
Climate inland could also drastically change. The Great Plains may dry out and become a dust bowl in the making. The southwest United States may see increases in temperature, making the heat even more unbearable than it already is.
The impact on humans could be devastating.
It could completely change many aspects of our lives. It would create competition for food, water, and territory, among many other things. As people migrate to safer zones, population density will rise and food may become scarce. And there definitely won't be any more Florida oranges.
Oh no, not the oranges. What could we do to mitigate and adapt to the impact of global climate change?
I'm glad you asked. There are a number of things every single person can do to help reduce the impacts. As individuals, we can learn to conserve by carpooling to work, eating less meat, using power strips, as well as turning off lights and using cold or warm water instead of hot water. As nations, we have already begun reducing emissions, but more needs to be done. Nations have already established limits on carbon emissions through carbon taxes and cap-and-trade systems, which is good for reducing but not completely cutting out emissions. Goals such as decreasing the rate at which we cause deforestation and expanding our renewable energy sources such as wind, solar, hydroelectric, and geothermal energy would have a dramatic impact on emissions as well. As our technology advances, we also have the option to develop better vehicle fuel efficiency, which would be of great benefit.
Those are fantastic ideas. I'm sure there are plenty more out there.
Yes, definitely. You just have to be aware of every action you take and what outcomes it can create. Small actions taken by individuals of an entire population create a large-scale outcome, whether it is positive or negative. But that is for you to choose. Just remember, our home, the Earth, is counting on you to make an ethical decision. Don't forget to question everything.
That brings us to the end of our newscast today. We have covered a lot of information, ranging from CO2 in the atmosphere to melting glaciers, rising sea levels, and more. Once again, this is Celsius Kelsey.
And I'm Chilly Billy.
Live from Channel 33 Degree Warming, signing off.